and welcome to TheAIbumMan, and today I'm taking a look at Boston's new album, Life, Love and Hope. And I just want to, before we get into the heart of the review, I just want to say that, I am a Boston fan. I'm not trying to hate on them. I mean, look on my wall over here. You can see Boston's debut album. I think it's one of the best debut albums, certainly, I've ever heard. It's absolutely fantastic. It's a classic. It's, up there with my favourite 70s albums. And I think it's fantastic. I think Boston, a really great band. And the reason I'm saying that is because my opinions towards this album aren't the most positive. Now, to be honest, general critical reception towards this hasn't been very positive at all. But yeah, so, let's take a look at Life, Love and Hope. And with a gestation period rivaling Chinese democracy, and Tom Scholz in, typically late fashion, as he is the perfectionist, and following the death of Brad Delp, it's been a long time, 11 long years since corporate America, which wasn't the greatest. I wasn't a huge fan of corporate America. There were a couple of decent things, but, the question is, even though I've pretty much already answered it, is this Boston's comeback? Is this up there with artists such as Bowie and Black Sabbath, who have shown us how to come back this year? Or really is just Boston dead and should die? Well, yeah, I sort of hinted towards my opinion, but that doesn't mean everything is all bad here, especially the opener, Heaven on Earth. And this has the vocals of David Victor and Louis St. August as a guest, and this has a very Boston feel to it, with some squeaky, clean production, and seemingly the same guitar tone that Scholz had on the debut, really. And I have to say, it's a pretty promising start, with a nice catchy chorus, some nice guitar riffs. It's not anything unexpected, it's basically what you would imagine a new Boston single to be, but there's nothing necessarily bad about that. I mean, Boston have such a unique sound, and then being a bit iterative. That's okay. I'm all right with that, But so it's a good start. Then, oh then, Tom Scholz, you have to, I was in a good mood. And it's like, oh, this album might be quite good, and then you give me Didn't Mean to Fall in Love. Now, Brad Delp on vocals, yeah, that sounds good, doesn't it? Yeah, we all like Brad Delp. Brad Delp's such a bloody underrated vocalist, I tell you, fantastic voice. But, any Boston fan will probably recognise the title, Didn't Mean to Fall in Love, because it was on corporate America. So what did he do to it? Has he decided to remake it, or has he decided to just remaster it and stick it on a new album as the second bloody track? Oh yeah, that's exactly what he's done. Oh dear God, Tom Scholz, why? Just, oh my God, why? But this song wasn't even that good on corporate America. Okay, it was okay. It was like, oh, this song's okay. The remaster, it's not bloody that dramatic, really. If you want to remaster the album, then do you know what you should do? If you want to remaster songs from corporate America, yes, corporate America's quite a hard album to get hold of. So what you do, get the rights to those songs, you remaster them, and then re-release that album. It's something that's been done for quite a long time, Tom Scholz. I think you may be familiar with remastering. I mean, the earlier Boston albums have had that done to them. So do that to corporate America if you don't like the production. Do not put it as the second track on your new album. Maybe include it as a bonus disc on a deluxe edition that you don't, have to pay for when buying out. But don't do this. It's, oh my God, it's just infuriating. I hate it when bands do that. It really pisses me off. But fortunately, it does put me in a bit of a better mood with the song, so I just adjusted my light sight, with the song Last Day of School, which, oddly, is probably the best song on the album. It's a 2-minute instrumental, and it's just bloody wonderful. It has this fantastic guitar solo. The guitar way is just so melodic and tuneful, combined with the lovely little sort of piano arrangement that you really get in this nifty song, and it's really nice. But it also does help highlight something that's been a pretty big problem with this album is throughout it, and that's the drum sound. Oh dear God, are they bad? The drums. Oh, some of the worst drums I've heard for a long time. I've come to two conclusions about these drums. Either that Tom Scholz just programmed them because they sound super, super fake, or that you got someone to play on electronic drum kit with that sort of 80s reverb on it, and it just sounds bloody awful. Seriously, it's so jarring in these songs. There's no place for this type of sound anymore. We had enough of that sort of stupid 80s electronic drums in the 80s. We've moved on, Tom Scholz. There's nothing wrong with taking influence from back then, but please don't take the shit bits. Okay, no one wants this drum sound back. It's just horrible. It certainly spoils the good songs, and that's including, as I said, what's it called? Heaven on Earth. It detracts from that as well. And it really is a shame how bad these drums are, because, oh god, just, so many infuriating things about this album. It has potential. It really does have potential to be a good, solid Boston album, but no. Oh god, it isn't. But still, Last Day of School is actually a pretty good song. It's worth checking out. Sail Away. This is an odd song. Yeah. It's at the same time both shockingly awful and really quite good. That definitely doesn't contradict itself at all. But it starts with this almost techno dance beat. It's like the worst drumming on the album. And then Kimberley Dahme comes in from spoken word, almost rapping stuff, and you're thinking, am I listening to Boston or Nicki Minaj? Because Tom Scholz sort of blares the line here, which is a little worrying, I have to say, because Nicki Minaj certainly isn't anything to strive towards. But then we have Brad Delp on this song. Yeah, good old Brad Delp, and this is new. We see some new vocals from Brad Delp's voice, and it's fantastic here. Seriously, he puts all the other vocalists on this album to shame, quite honestly. His voice so strong. Again, the chorus, it's very catchy, and this song just has so much potential, but Kimberley's appalling contributions and the awful drums really ruin this song and make it difficult for me to listen to it and say that I actually like it, which is a shame. It really is a shame. I can't listen to Sail Away. I honestly can't. Again, it had so much potential, just wasted. Life, Love and Hope, the title track. Now, this is sung by DeCarlo in this ever-changing roster of singers, but this song's actually one of the better ones. It utilises that signature guitar sound, and DeCarlo's voice fits, even if compared to Delp's it is pretty underwhelming. Still, it isn't great. I mean, this is pretty standard generic Boston. Sounds more like someone trying to actually emulate Boston than it sounds like Boston being Boston, which is a little worrying, a little worrying that it sounds like Tom Scholz is trying to emulate Boston. But again, that's another vibe you get on this album. See, the thing about this album, it's like you take the spaceship from their classic first Boston cover, and then basically imagine that it just smashes into the ground, okay? It's smashed in the ground, it's a tragedy, there's body parts, the ship's just completely wrecked. But the thing is, you can still see that it was the Boston ship. You can see clues of its magnificence and how it was when it was glorious, but now it's just nothing compared to its former glory. It's broken, on fire, and it's just sad, honestly. And that really is how this album is. But we'll carry on. If You Were In Love. Now, this is sung by Kimberley Dahme. And yet, she's returned after a horrible appearance in Sail Away. And this is actually a bit better. She's actually pretty inoffensive here in this piano-driven ballad. She sings everything pretty nicely. Still, this song's nothing to get excited about. It feels pretty tired, pretty unoriginal, and does nothing to grab me, and is the most predictable thing since Gravity. Honestly, yeah. Someday. Sung by DeCarlo. And let's just talk about one of the many major flaws of this album, which is the ever-changing roster of vocalists. Oh my god, this type of thing can work on something like Slash's self-titled album, where that's the whole premise of the album, is to have a guest vocalist. This isn't. This is just a steaming mess where you have some vocalists here, some here, and just constantly you don't know what you get, and it's so jarring, the sound going from one vocalist to the next, and then going back again, and it really is a bit of a steaming mess, and makes this inconsistent album feel even more inconsistent, even more patched and stitched together. Everything feels just so detached. And especially it's noticeable here with 3 vocalists singing here, including Scholz himself, though we'll talk about Scholz's voice in a sec. And the instrumentation as well, it's a pretty detached feeling. And weirdly, and this is odd because this is Boston, The production is pretty amateurish. Now, I know that Tom Scholz went for an analog sound because he doesn't like digital, and that's okay, I can kind of understand that. But then you get things like, I think in the first or second song, can't quite remember, there's a bit of sort of tape hiss, which is like for like the first 15 seconds and inexplicably vanishes, and it's like, oh, come on. If you're going to release this professional product, you have to have some consistency. After 11 years, you don't expect to be hearing bloody tape hiss, okay? And then especially it just disappears, and it's like, what is happening? This song, it's bland as hell, it veers all over the place, and it's an embarrassment to the Boston name. Love Got Away, 100% Scholz, being sung by him, played by him. He, sung the theme tune, whatever, Dennis Waterman, Little Britain. And, his voice isn't that bad, but introducing enough of bloody recklessness mix is not what anyone wanted. It just adds confusion to this messed up album. It has some nice elements, this song, no it does. I'm still going to bitch about the drums, because they need bitching about, honestly. Still, there's a nice harmony in the chorus, which is semi-decent, some okay guitar work, and the synths had a kind of okay dynamic, but it sounds a bit like just a Boston B-side, something you expect on B-sides and rarities compilation, instead of a new album. And now, let's talk about, well, there's a couple of songs left, but let's talk about two of them together. Someone and You Gave Up on Love. But they're called Someone 2.0 and You Gave Up on Love 2.0, which seems a bit weird. I mean, having 2.0 in two song titles in a row, a bit odd, but wait, hold on. When these songs, again, on corporate America, and instead you just decided to remix and rearrange them. Oh, you sneaky, lazy little bastard, Tom Scholz. Quite honestly, this 2.0 shit is unacceptable. I've told you again, I'll take it. You want to remix, you want to mess with corporate America, then re-release it, okay? It's not exactly an easy album to get. I think a lot of fans, well, if anyone bloody likes the album, would want a re-release. Just do that. Stop shoving pieces of crap from that album on here and doing nothing with them. It's lazy, and after 11 years, it is unacceptable. It is. It's just unacceptable in every conceivable way. I just don't even care what the songs sound like. Yeah, I've listened to them, but I'm not going to tell you what I think of them because it's irrelevant. I'll do a corporate America review if I want to talk about what these songs are actually like. The Way You Look Tonight, last song, pleasant ballad, less infuriating, but still one of the most blasé, uninspired songs since Greenswag's Frequency Unknown. This album, though, I'm just sick of talking about it. We've gone through it track by track. I couldn't recommend it to anyone. No, not at full retail price. Unless you think corporate America is the greatest thing since Dark Side of the Moon, or Boston's first album is a better comparison, then you might like it, but really this is a poor, lazy disgrace of an album. Tom Scholz should honestly be ashamed for branding this with the Boston name, and it truly shows how the mighty have fallen. I'm going to give this album, and this may sound harsh, but I'm going to give this a 3.5 out of 10. The only reason it gets marks at all is because it does have some nice elements to it, but the business practices and rehashing the songs, and just the bland crap that's on here, the vocals and the fucking drums, okay? I don't like to swear much on this channel, but seriously, those drums, oh my god. I'm probably not ever going to listen to this album again. I don't know why I would. It's one of the worst albums of 2013, and that's a shame, because I like Boston, I really do. Their second album, nice continuation on the first, not as good as the first, but it's good. Their third album, honestly, I've never quite got around to listening to because I don't own. I'm planning to pick up Third Stage, eventually. But it's a shame. It really is a shame. Boston have shown that they have no relevance in 2013, and it'd be better if they just called it quits long ago. This has been the Album Man. Thanks for watching, comment, subscribe, and as usual, long live rock and roll.